What up, dudes? It's Gaz, and welcome back to the channel. Today we got a video overviewing the first Descendant Crossplay beta, which will be here in a couple days. We'll be showing some major changes that devs have put out, as well as showcasing what to expect out of this game. If you haven't seen the first Descendant before, I am an official creator for the game. It's not released yet, but we're having a second beta testing out Crossplay and some big mission changes and features. That'll be starting on the 19th. We'll be overviewing what to expect here, and I will be covering this game a lot going forward. It's not going to be replacing Warframe or anything like that, but it will be a game I'm playing on the side with Warframe the entire time. And if you enjoy Warframe, honestly, you're going to have a really easy time getting into here. It's very similar to Warframe, so let's get in right away for what you can expect with this beta. If you enjoy these types of videos, we don't really know when the game's coming out, but I'll be covering this game a lot, so make sure you're subbed to this channel. We do daily Warframe video uploads, and once this game comes out, we'll definitely be putting up some more videos on that in the future, too. Alright, so let's get into it with the patch notes. Well, actually, first, let's go over the crossplay open beta dates. So here it is. It's starting on September 19th, and it will be at about, 3 p.m. ET in my time zone, same time zone as DE. But yeah, here's a conversion map right here. So basically, the 19th, it will go for a week too. It's going to go from the 19th to the 26th of September. And that's prime time for us in Warframe, as there's really nothing going on this month. If you want to give this game a try, go for it. And let's go over what is actually changing here, because the devs actually made a lot of changes since the first beta. There was a first beta in 2022. There was definitely some stiffness to it, they completely reworked the grappling hook and stuff. This dev post will be going over missions and what to expect as far as mission changes in the beta. Okay, so let's start off with the director is Min-Seok Ju. Sorry if I said that wrong. This is their 5th dev note. It's the last one they're going to have before the crossplay open beta on the 19th. They're talking about missions today, which they spent most of their time testing stuff out on. The missions were another type of content that received a lot of feedback from the Steam beta. The feedback included the fields feel empty, the missions feel monotonous and repetitive, as well as feeling difficult to play because players on different missions were often matched in the same field. It was pretty much like fighting for kills. If you've ever played Destiny before, you've done a bounty in Destiny, it's get 20 kills with a void grenade. It's well, okay, I was loaded to this mission. Oh, my teammate's getting all the kills before I could even see anything. So that was a major complaint, and hopefully they're fixing that in these patch notes. We'd love it to be perfect in every way, but unfortunately the dev team's time and resources are limited, so we have to decide where to focus. The first one is a character-driven game, so we want to design the missions so that they lend themselves to skill-based combat. Since it's also a grindy game, we established a direction of design to ensure that the missions have a structure that motivates farming and offers high replayability. So rather than trying to fill the fields and make them come alive, we focused on increasing the quality of missions to enable character-driven combat with high replayability for farming. Okay, so what they've done is that they've changed it how missions work. They're not just going to be you click the mission and you go run over there. There will be missions in these bases. So each basically field, they're calling it, is going to have multiple different bases. There will be different missions in those bases. Once you complete all the missions in that base, you can move on to the next area of the map. But let's just read out how they're describing this right here. In the last Steam beta, all missions were on a linear path. You had to complete the first mission to take on the second, and so on. This meant that even when there were other players on the same battlefield, they were rarely on the same mission, and it was difficult to create co-op multiplayer experiences. In this crossplay open beta, you will experience a new mission progression structure. The biggest difference is that the fields will be played on a battlefield-by-battlefield basis. A typical battlefield consists of one camp and 3 to 4 missions. Clearing all the missions in a battlefield opens up the next battlefield, where you'll be able to play new missions. So, looking at this example they gave right here, it's a little bit blurry, but yeah. So they've got, it looks like 4 missions here, 4 or 5 missions here. There's different loot from each mission. They can drop it to be character parts. They're called Descendants in this game, but it's very similar to Warframe. You need 3 different parts for the Descendant, and then you're gonna build the character like Lepic right here. This is basically Excalibur for First Son. He's the poster boy. He's got his passive abilities, all this stuff. I'm gonna show some of these characters later, but yeah, this is basically how this is gonna go. You have to clear out an area and move on to the next area and get some loot while you're doing it. Most importantly, there is no particular order in which you must complete the missions in the battlefield. You can pick and choose any mission you'd like. You can start the mission nearest to the camp, but it's also fine if you want to jump into a mission started by another player and play with them instead. Also, check out the mission information to start the mission. There's a short play time or pick an easy mode. We're going to go over all the mission types they've shown. Some of them definitely seem a lot easier than others. Let's just put it like that. Also want to bring more multiplayer experience to Descendant, so we've improved our field placement rules to ensure that players of similar progression are matched up as soon as possible when they're in the field. So improve matchmaking in the fields. That's great. You're going to match into players that actually are a similar power level to you. To get a quick look at this right here, they're showing these different mission types right here. It's also telling you what types of loot you get. So for example, this one gives you a Kyle stabilizer. One of the upcoming characters for this game is named Kyle. We don't know his abilities yet, but yeah, Kyle is one of the characters coming up. So that is just showing right there how that's going to work, how farming characters in the game is going to work here to beat this certain missions. It's going to have a chance of dropping a part for the character, the Descendant, and you'll probably just grind that out if you don't have it already. There's also weapons that drop from here and resources. In the mission info window, you can view the mission objectives, required time, and the Vulgus Legion information help plan and decide the order in which you complete the missions. So as it says right here, required time less than 15 minutes, required time less than 10 minutes. So it's different mission types, different mission lengths, obviously. Since level 18, you can see all this information right here, and it'll tell you what you're going to be basically jumping into and what you can expect when you're playing those missions. Now, we've got all the mission types right here. This is actually kind of exciting as a Warframe player, as a lot of these mission types are very similar to what we have, but there's a couple different ones too. We've made many improvements to the missions themselves. Newly revamped missions are centered around the bases on each field. Exterminate missions are carried out at the Vulgus camp, and defense missions take place at a strategic point. So there are defense missions in this game. They are endless. We've added new objectives and progression methods so that each mission feels like a different playing experience, and make sure effective play styles depend on your character. Let's take a look at these improved missions. So the first one, we got Exterminate, similar to Warframe's Exterminate. Kill a bunch of enemies, and there will be a final battle with an elite at the end. So kind of like a combination of Exterminate and Capture. So that's the elite enemy right there. Looks like this player is using Sharon, I believe, who is the poison. Actually, that's a new character, Sharon. She's the stealth character. Freya is the poison character. There's a poison character in this game. So it's literally just Exterminate for this one, and there's an elite at the end. Hopefully that elite will drop some good stuff. That could be a good one for farming in the long run, depending on what elite to drop in this game. The next one, this one is looking pretty rough if you've played Warframe before. This one is called Search, and you can just kind of like view it as Hijack. The mission focuses on searching for the Ironheart. The detector is powered by your character's shield energy. Oh no! Since the detector depletes your character's shield, the mission will be easier if you use Ajax, who's a defense specialist. There is a tank character in this game called Ajax, so I guess they're suggesting to play a tank character for the mission where it drains your shield constantly. So yeah, I doubt there will be an Inaros She's like in Warframe for this, where it's like Inaros has no shield, but it keeps draining it infinitely. Now there is a character that I'm planning on playing that's similar to Inaros named Glay, but yeah, she is mostly a health regen character, and she does have a shield, so I doubt she would actually be able to cheese this. But either way, this is probably one of the more difficult missions. I hope that the devs make this one very rewarding, as I am not expecting this one to be very smooth sailing, let's just put it like that. Constantly draining your shield is never a fun feeling, especially when enemies are shooting at you too. So let's hope that we get some good loot from doing this mission type. So yeah, I'm not expecting that one to be very popular, but we'll see. This one's called Seizure. It's more of like a sabotage mission. You must disarm the security systems of the Vulgus repository and seize the resources. While the system is being disarmed, enemies will swarm to defend the repository. The player must stop them from getting to the repository. So it's kind of like a sabotage mixed with a mobile defense. So you basically sabotage the base, you destroy the security system right there, and then after you do that, it becomes a defense objective apparently, where the enemies will try to retake the objective. By the way, the character in the gameplay footage right here is the main character I'll be playing, Glay, very similar to Garuda and Inaros from Warframe. He has a Berserk mode and an Exalted Nosferatu pistol. But yeah, this one looks like it might have some good loot too, as you're technically sabotaging an enemy base and stealing resources. I'm expecting a lot of resources after this mission is completed, as it is not just the Exterminate so far seems like the most straightforward. Kill enemies, kill the elite. This one is, you must disarm the objective, then you defend it. So it's going to definitely take longer than just killing some enemies. But yeah, we'll see about that one in the future. Also, there are objective control characters in this game, such as Ajax. One of his abilities is a bubble shield, which will protect him and defend the area. So he could be good for missions like this. I'm seeing multiple objective defense modes here. Another one here, we got Transport Disruption. You must stop the Vulgus from transporting resources and collect a certain amount of resource shards. Obtaining the resource shards requires capturing nearby areas. Very similar to Interception from Warframe. There will probably be 4 or 5 different points that you can protect. It says 7, right? You have to collect 7 to beat this. So, area defense and definitely some DPS will be important. Also, a stealth character right here. This is a stealth character in the gameplay. She is cheesing this by just staying in there invis. So definitely try to get the invisible character Sharon if you're trying to grind these missions. They might be a pretty easy farm, as looks like they're capturing that one pretty quick. So 4 Sharons could cheese this very easily. Just like in Warframe, Interception is very cheesable with invisibility frames. Yeah, so I'm definitely expecting to get her. I'm expecting to buy at least a couple characters. This game is free to play, and you, like as I said earlier, you can grind out the characters. You can also buy them with cash or whatever. All right, and the next one is called Collection. This is a parkour-based mission. You must collect data fragments for the vital information about Albion is compromised. The platforming mission requires that you use jumps and grappling hooks to maneuver between precarious structures without falling. So, basically, the parkour mission. Like, pick up these floating orb things and jump around. It looks like it'll be pretty easy. Most characters have the same ability in this game, so any character should do for this one. No defense objectives or stealth required for that. Probably not going to have the best rewards, from what I can tell. And in addition to this, there will also be other mission types, such as destruction, supply, capture, and defense. And of course, there are dungeons. We'll go over a little bit of the dungeon stuff later in this video, but yeah, there are dungeons in this game. Too bad Warframe couldn't have those. Also, new monster appearances. So they have made some big changes from the initial beta. At first, enemies would just kind of appear in front of your face. And now, they have spawning animations, so they can like teleport in. And there's also, if you are in the the overworld, they will appear in their dropships. And I think there's different dropships for different factions, obviously. So, this will be something to keep in mind. Like, they will be dropping enemies right on top of you, but you'll be able to see when it's happening because there will be a dropship. Very important for not getting, backstabbed by a bunch of enemy, minigun dudes. Additionally, since we're talking about dungeons, this will look very similar if you're a Destiny player. They are going to have these kinds of darkness enemy spawning doors in the dungeon. So, straight out of Destiny, pretty much. We have these exact same doors in Destiny. I wonder if they'll be able to be glitched out, in Destiny, with, an arc grenade or whatever. So, yeah. Expect a ton of enemies in the dungeons. It looks like constant enemy spawns from that, but we'll see. Now, moving on to dungeons, they are going to be adding mechanics to dungeons. Dungeon bosses, that is. They used to not be health gated. Now they have made them all health gated due to, just making sure we don't insta-burst down just not mindless gameplay. Only weapon buffs matter. So, here's an example of one of the dungeon bosses. So it's not that complicated mechanics. You shoot the main body, and then once he goes immune, blow up his drone things. It's gonna be he's shooting at you constantly during this. So hopefully you can survive. But yeah, looks like a dungeon boss, and there will probably be multiple dungeons from what they're saying here. So yeah, they added new phases of the dungeon boss. So every dungeon boss will have immunity. Think of it very similar to Destiny, where it's okay, when's the immunity shield gonna go up? Oh, immunity shield's up. Gotta go dunk this arc orb in this thing. Now we can arbitrarily fight him again. I don't like that part, but of course, the devs decided that was the thing to do, so we'll see how that goes. Additionally, similar to Destiny, these dungeon boss areas are a no-res zone. So when you go in there, it's you better not die, basically. That's why characters like Ajax and Glay, characters that have built-in tankiness or health regen, might be an asset to your team here. And also, I'm thinking Sharon, the invisibility character, is going to potentially be very, very good for this mission as well. As, you're about to die, go invis, hide in the corner, wait till you regen. Those are things that can be very good in these types of situations and games. Okay. Other content, so there's going to be exploding barrels they added into this game. There's going to be supply crates in the areas as well, and they'll drop resources you can build the Descendants with, so that's pretty cool. You can also use the explosives to shoot the barrel, obviously. Nothing too crazy, but I'm sure it will be quite powerful once we actually get it in-game. There's also some more mobility aspects I've added. Some areas in the game will have mid-air grapple points for some very good mobility. And by the way, this character is going to be very popular, named Bunny, kind of a mixture of Volt and Gyre from Warframe with bunny ears. So yeah, that's basically the dev post. Everything we talked about is going to be experienced in the upcoming Crossplay beta. The team is well aware it isn't quite enough to fill the amazing world of Descendant. They'll be making new field content as well. In addition to missions, they'll be also working on side content to work as well as lore content discovered all around the world. So yes, I think the devs really, really want this game to be good. A lot of looter shooter game game players are kind of like, feel like, when's the next big looter shooter going to come out? Now, I'm not expecting this to be like replacing Destiny or Warframe, especially for me. But as far as like, a game like Remnant 2 or a game like, I don't want to say Outriders, but like a game that is like, this is a fun game, maybe like Borderlands. It's a fun game that is going to be around hopefully for a while. It's a nice distraction, something to do while you're waiting for the major updates for your favorite games. And it looks like the devs are doing a very good job. I mean, these graphics look good. The characters look fun. The environments look fun. There's going to be dungeons and big raid boss fights. So I see no problem. It's literally free to play. So what do you have to lose besides your time? So I'm planning on jumping in on the 19th. Make sure you guys check out the live stream because I'll be, Now, so I want to keep in mind though, the beta progression will not carry over to the actual like live game. This progress will not carry over, but you can pre-download on the 18th. But just keep in mind, like, this is the things you'll be experiencing here. There's going to be 11 standard characters, 2 ultimate characters, basically prime characters. That's Frost Prime and Excalibur Prime, basically. There's mods in this game. There's 50 new weapons. There's 3 different fields for this beta. And yeah, I really want an actual release date is the thing. Where is the actual release date? First Descendant devs, we've been really wondering. Now, I hope after, maybe like right after this beta ends, they can confirm crossplay works. They can announce the release date or something. But yeah, either way, I will be covering this game plenty on this channel. Hope you guys found this video enjoyable and helpful. It's on all platforms besides Switch, basically. Switch and Epic. It's not on Switch or Epic, but it's on everything else, even PS4 and the like last gen Xbox. So I'll see you guys next video. Appreciate the support. Take it easy. Peace.